Hello and
Hello.
welcome back to the Hawaiian Mint Recap. I'm
And-
Ricky,
And I am Cesar
and this week we're going to recap episode 8,
in Barbados.
Barbados.
Welcome to Barbados.
Hey! I know we heard that a couple times in the
Yep.
episode, right?
Well, on the preview, and then we
And
heard it again.
All
I
right,
think
maybe just in my head I kept
We,
hearing
we listened to the preview a little bit too many times.
it. We were excited, I would say. So we're going to recap episode 8.
Thanks for everyone that has joined, that are over
Yes,
here.
Thank you. If you haven't, please like and subscribe to our channel. We appreciate it. Our subscriptions are getting pretty high. We're at like 200,
which is like, I hope you're liking the content. Like we're enjoying a lot,
Yeah.
just talking about what our experience was, and just for you to get a little bit of the behind the scenes, like what happened to us
really nice.
as we were racing. And
it's been cool to like kind of share with everyone and give you a glimpse of like what our experience was, and then kind of give you a reaction of like what we're experiencing watching things for the first time.
that is the other thing. We don't know what's happened,
because there are things that we've never seen before,
which is really cool. We're enjoying it. Hi Rohan, thanks for joining.
Happy Sunday.
Are you ready to restart?
Yeah, I think I'm ready.
Perfect. So first things first,
Let's
we heard Phil saying that interesting, in Bridgetown, Barbados, there's only 2 bridges, and it happens that we're starting in one of them.
On one of them. I didn't. You would think there'd be more bridges. I guess not.
Interesting thing that happened at this beginning is that all the teams we were lined up together. So something that for me was like, Ricky, we need to read this clue.
Yeah, it was
not
weird.
too
It was
loud.
really weird because we're all lined up and they're like, okay, you're gonna rip your clue right here. And I was like, everybody's standing next to us. Like, they're gonna hear like what we're reading right away. So that was kind of,
but still, it's not
weird.
that they can do anything right there and then. That is just something that happened and that we found like interesting. That
so we ripped the clue and then
our clue says, because I have it over here,
our handy dandy notes.
Welcome to Barbados. Drive to the neighborhood of Fairfield, Blackrock, to find your next clue. You have 40 Barbadian dollars for this leg of the race.
Yeah, so they always give us like a little bit of cash
in case anything happened. We need to write something. So it's just having a little bit of money on us in case of any emergency.
Yeah.
To this point as well, what happened with money is that we are carrying any money that we have left over from the previous legs.
Yeah.
So it's totally up to the racers to change it or not. That is just a little behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
It was really cloudy.
Well, when we got there that morning, it was beautiful. Cloudy,
but you could see the clouds. I do remember them.
No, when we were doing those early morning interviews, it was sunny and beautiful, and we were hiding under the trees.
But it was hot. Let me tell you something.
And then
we had the covers of our bags. That's why I know it was cloudy.
Because before we stepped off, it started to drizzle, and we said, "Let's put our rain covers on." No, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Thank you.
But you're not completely right, because early that morning it was beautiful, and then it's just before we stepped off, it started to get really like cloudy, and it started to drizzle, and you were like, "Let's put the covers on." So we put the covers on.
There we go.
Which one was it?
Is it sunny or cloudy?
It was both. That's my newest brother-in-law there.
We learned that in the islands, the weather changes abruptly,
very rapidly. And as you saw in the episode, it definitely did. So we got into the car and they provided a map. Dun, da, da, da.
And we kept it. We have it over here. But let me show you. Later on, I'm going to show you my crafty maps. But over here, like you can see that there's no that many names of the streets, like all the small streets. So it was,
and this was a very large map for a very small part of town that we were only. But that's the other thing, southern part.
So we heard on the race that is not that big of an island,
not a very big island. 17 miles wide, 21 miles long,
something like that. Anyway,
I don't know. It's a very small island, very beautiful.
It was so pretty.
So they gave us a map, and I wanted to say this because it came up in conversation a couple of times. why are they providing maps? I don't know if you noticed this, people, but people don't sell maps anymore. Like everybody has their phones. So I think 2 reasons why they were providing maps was 1, it's very hard to find a map. And 2, we also it was during COVID. So like, I think they were trying to limit the amount of like exposure we were having.
To this, I'm going to say that we did have a plan, like in touristy towns, for example, Bridgetown, like we could ask a tourism information as we did in Puerto Vallarta, and it worked out for us. Anyways, we ended up finding our map. I do want to make a little parenthesis here to say another behind the scenes that we had mentioned before as well. In terms of fairness. So the day before we race, we have to pick our cars.
Oh, that's right.
So we're talking that there's 6 teams, and there were at least 7 cars. So in order, we went and picked our car, and of course, we see the blue one. We're like, yeah that's for us.
It matched our outfits.
But just to mention that, like, we all had the chance. Even the last team that picked a car had the chance to pick between 2 cars.
Yeah.
So like that, if anything happened to the car, they do have a backup. But it's just you have chosen yours, and it's fair and square.
Yeah. So the night before we chose.
It's just another little thing as a super fan.
We knew which car we were going to. But yeah, it's funny because in the episode they showed us just like grabbing the map, and you're like, Danny says, "Oh yeah, you know where it is," and Cesar's like, "Yeah, I know where it is." What they didn't show was we actually went to a local.
So we went to a local. We both asked for
direction.
I have to say that morning we were really frantic. Again, it's the first time that we're racing with Danny and Angie at the front of the pack.
Yeah.
We asked for direction. We sort of get it, but again, because of the map didn't have specific,
and also the place wasn't specific. It was a neighborhood.
It did
the neighborhood
on the additional instructions. It did have a specific, but we could not see it on the map.
Yeah.
And that was, I think, where I had a little bit more of a struggle. I knew the area, but I wasn't extremely sure, and that's why we started going together.
We were like, let's just go. So we started heading that direction,
and that's when I said, "Oh, I don't know where we're going."
Yeah,
Danny and
we actually were. We were headed in the correct direction.
In the right direction,
where we pulled off into the gas station, if we had made a left where the gas station was the correct way. So we just were stopping to verify, okay, we're going in the correct direction. And so we stopped at the gas station.
Danny and Angie stopped as well.
Stopped with us.
So we started getting directions. By the time that they get there, we just compare notes. We now know where we're going. And then suddenly we get to the car and it starts pouring.
Oh my God.
And that's when we decide to just we started to
back out. We were like, okay, maybe it'll stop. Like we can handle a little drizzle, but then it started really coming down. And my biggest worry was that the electric was going.
My biggest worry was the clues, the
money and the map. I'm over here thinking about the electronics in the car gonna go berserk, and the car's gonna turn off.
So we go down and it started snapping. So we keep saying that we had another
the detour before the detour.
Yeah, pretty much.
But it took 2 minutes to put
we got it on, and
it's just little buttons like snaps.
We took off and it was just pouring. And I'm looking at the map, and Ricky's just looking at the street, and suddenly we passed these announced by these how do you?
No, it was just a regular street sign. It said Rihanna Way, and I was like, "Oh my God, Rihanna Way!" in the pouring rain, and
we didn't know at that moment
that was going to be significant. And then later on, Rihanna Way pops up, and I'm like, we know how to get there.
We kept going. I don't think we stopped again.
No, we didn't stop again.
So we just kept going. We found the area, we found the street, and we ended up driving. And you can see it on the episode that we were like, yeah, the clue box is right there, and we saw it, it was at the end of the street. Yeah. But then at this point, we almost do it. Glenda and Lumumba.
Oh my gosh, we almost got stuck. So the roads were so flooded that you couldn't see where the curb was, or where you couldn't see the lines on the street. So
on the edge of that street,
I'm on the opposite side of the road. So I literally I think I was on top of the curb.
You were already on the sidewalk.
Top.
You were on the sidewalk.
Oh yeah, I was on the sidewalk.
Almost going, but there was like a ditch.
Like a ditch on the other side of the sidewalk, and I almost.
We were really close.
Yes.
Hey, Team Walla Walla in the house. Yeah, so we were almost like on the edge because the street was closed because of the race.
Yeah.
So they had a little fence. We didn't know exactly what to park. It was raining so hard that I bet there was a security person there, but because of the rain, they weren't. So we ended up backing up a little.
Yeah.
Did we move the thing? What happened? I'm trying to remember. No. Either we moved it or someone ended up moving it, and we parked.
Yeah, I think maybe a producer came, because at that point it was crazy rain. And what they don't show is that we had a production shutdown because the rain was so heavy that like they couldn't have the equipment out in the rain. They couldn't have the road tennis players out in the rain because.
And just to say, like exactly heavy. What this means is, as you get there, the time stops, and it's just the same for everyone. That as you get there, the time stops.
Yeah,
I don't know. Actually, I'm not sure. And like Danny, you may help on this. Like, I don't know if it is stopped right there at the moment that you get to the place, or if it is stopped for everyone.
I think it was as you arrive to the clue box,
your time
stopped. Yeah, because otherwise, how do you you're checking in? So as you came into the clue box for the roadblock, your time stopped. So say, we pulled in at 8:15, our time stopped. And then Danny and Angie were actually
12 minutes behind us.
12 minutes behind us.
They arrived, we parked next to each other. We had the AC on like high, just putting the map in there. So yeah, this is our map, like second edition, because this one was the second one that we got. And
someone saying in the comments that it was 90 minutes. I don't believe it was 90 minutes.
I don't remember it being.
I think it was like maybe
an hour. It was. I think it was
about an hour. It wasn't super long, but it was a significant amount of time where we were just sitting there waiting. All of our maps were.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Here. Thank you. And this was. I don't think it was 90.
I think it was
less than an hour.
It was like 45, maybe an hour. Because it was less than an hour. It wasn't
at that point. All the teams over there.
All had arrived, and we're all just sitting there waiting for the rain to clear, the flooding to clear, essentially.
The other cool thing, and we just have to be thankful to production as well, and how they make everything fair up until like here for us. That is giving us a second map.
Yeah,
because we were stressing so much. I remember like looking to the other car. We could not talk to Danny and Angie,
but we
were both like
parked next to us,
just like showing each other our maps, like how they were like tearing apart,
trying to like turn on the heat in the car to like dry out the maps.
We heard as well from Beanie and Amber, like that Amber was saying, like that their maps started disintegrating. Their clue was as well like falling apart. It's just really stressful, and it's like one of the things that we haven't seen on the Amazing Race in a while. Like
it was a very unique experience. And my comment was like, well, we said we wanted to get wet today. I meant like
going into the beach, swimming,
something like that, but not getting completely drenched.
So then we're there, and finally we get to open the sky clears, everyone is ready, and time starts again for us. We rip our clue, and it says, who wants to get into the swing of things? And it was Ricky. Then once we open it, it says, play road tennis against a local and score 11 points to earn your clue. So it said it scored 11 points, and our first thought was that it was going to be a match.
Yeah, so when I read through, it said score 11 points. And now I've played badminton, I've played pickleball, I will watch tennis. I'm not a good tennis player, but I've played like those volley type games before. So usually when you like miss the point, it switches volley and the other person goes to score points. So when I started playing and I lost a point, I thought he was going to start serving and gaining points. So I thought I had to like beat him to 11. Otherwise I had to restart. So it ended up being a lot faster than it was. I think I don't know. And I knew like a strategy of like getting points faster, because you heard me explain it in the episode, like hitting it at a sharper angle, hitting it closer to the ground so he couldn't get it faster. There's different techniques and tricks you can do.
And while he's strategizing over there, I'm just like laying down on the bench,
taking a nap,
taking a little nap.
But yes, and that was, it was very, I don't know. I thought it was for me, someone who's played those type of games before, I thought it was very easy. However, someone who's never played those type of games before, I could see how it'd be very difficult. So, it's one of those things, like if you don't have experience in it, it could be. I think
really we also heard from Juan and Shane on their podcast that Shane was thinking like the balls were just like Juan was hitting them so hard that they were just going way too far. So then you have to go and get those. Like you have to bring
that
them.
Takes time. Like if you miss it, it starts rolling down the.
So that all of that.
Someone said they thought you'd be taking notes. He most definitely was taking notes.
Okay, and as I was taking notes, I'll show you here, but I'll show you later. Like just like the uniform, how was the it was most than anything drawing.
Oh, this is a great question. Did we know how far the other teams were behind us?
We knew that Danny and Angie were 12 minutes behind us.
And we knew every other team as well because we were sitting there.
But I don't remember the timings right now. But at the moment we knew.
We kind of knew because we watched all the other teams pull up to the parking spot. And so we knew that at least Danny and Angie were 12 minutes behind us. The next team was another 10, it was like 20,
something like that.
Yeah, no, they were actually much further because it was the 15 minutes plus.
But it's still, we got a little lost. So like on top of that, I think it wasn't too, like everyone was bunch up within 45 minutes to an hour tops.
Yeah.
Something like that.
So we did kind of know that we had a gap. But by the time we went to the roadblock, I played the game and left and got in the car and we were out of there. Like Danny and Angie hadn't even gotten out of the car yet. So in total, like it was
Juan and Shane were like 40 minutes behind us. Thank you.
There you go. From Team Walla Walla, 40 minutes behind us. It's kind of cool to like, they don't really show a lot of the time clocks on the show, so it's kind of cool to go through and think about it. But
and comparing notes, I think that's what I'm finding like really.
So we were out of there before Team Walla Walla went in, and I'm sure Angie's a tennis rock star was boom out of there.
So it was less than 12.
For me it took
I lost it. Sorry.
Yeah,
less than 12 minutes.
Juan and Shane did say that it took us 5 minutes. It probably felt like that, but
it was a little
bit longer. Like by the time we got the clue, we went in and I played, and it was a total of,
But the other thing that was a little, I guess, frustrating is like it was tucked around the corner. So for the teams didn't get anyone else got to see exactly what was it. So I can only imagine like how frustrating could have been just sitting in the car, seeing people going, especially for Juan and Shane that were like 40 minutes after, just seeing teams getting in and out of there.
Well, it's interesting because like though that last team, they're leaving 30 minutes behind. So there's going to be a gap. It's not like it's not like they got lost. Like it's not additional time. It's just the timing of it. But all those other teams that play it, they do it quickly and they got out of there.
It seems that everyone got it really, really fast.
I think everybody really did get out of there pretty quickly.
Hey, Lost
Toms in the house.
Then we got our next clue. We rip it off, and it says drive to the childhood home of Rihanna to find your next clue.
Work.
Well, another parenthesis, as I'm saying right now, like ripping the clue envelope, just something that I never thought about it is that we have to keep that little strip. And I guess like we got told that by producers, like from orientation, like from the very beginning, because I guess like on the very first seasons, like they would rip it and just like you can actually see it like just dropping it on the floor. I don't know. Another fun fact, maybe not so fun, but like interesting that we're told like that we rip it and we have to keep our little.
Don't throw that tear on the floor.
Don't go over there. Just
Like
littering around the
production
world.
pet peeve. Don't litter.
Okay.
But anyway, so actually, I think we had gotten directions to Rihanna's house before we left the tennis courts.
We did. That's true. We ripped the
We
clue.
ripped it.
We asked someone for their phone.
Yeah,
we got
someone
directions.
who was watching the game.
Just to confirm. So then we made it.
Right, because I had seen the road. So
but we didn't know that it was
how
that.
to get back towards the gas station.
And pretty much the only thing that we did was just backtracking.
We just backtracked to that main road.
It wasn't such a long drive, maybe 7 minutes, something like that.
It was like 3 turns.
No, it was a longer. You will
1,
see it on the
2,
map.
3.
Yeah, but you don't see all these small.
I'm looking at a map and it has 3 turns
on the big avenues. We'll show you the maps because that was.
I got a map and it says 3 turns.
It did. It was better now that it wasn't raining, so we made our way over there. We parked and we did it. We weren't sure which one was her house, so we got off the car. We asked where her house was.
Yeah, there was like a bar right there.
Then he told us we went. It was tricky to get the clue over there.
Arnold said, did they tell you it was in the mailbox in the fence?
They did not tell us that. And that's what I was about to say.
And I think it kind of threw people off because it didn't have the flag or like the usual stand. And I think they did that purposely.
It was just like the mailbox, the other mailbox.
But we did not hesitate. We went straight to the gray box.
I think so.
I didn't hesitate. I was like, there it is.
Well, we got it. We opened it. And this one says, route info, drive to Long Bay Beach, found in Christchurch Parish, and search for your next clue.
Yeah. So we grab the clue, we run back to the car, and then Cesar says to me,
no, we run and ask for directions.
Oh, that's right.
We confirmed our directions.
We went back into the bar
to the same person
who already had the release.
That's important to know for future
racers. If you talk to
racers.
somebody and they already had a release, go back to that same person so they don't have to sign another release.
So he tells us where we're going, and now we have it narrowed down. We go back to the car, and then because every moment that I have on the car, I was drawing everything we were seeing. I turned to Ricky and I'm like, do you remember the colors or what exactly it says on the plaque on the floor?
And I was
like, no.
Oh, no, I don't remember.
So we stopped again, get out of the car.
Back out of the car, run back down the street, take a look at the little tile on the floor.
And our crew,
Rihanna and
our crew wasn't with us on the car. So, of course, they were asking, what are you guys doing?
They're like, why are you running out of the car again? Like, what did you forget?
So it was just to take notes to make sure that we have it.
Because you never know, that little, plaque on the ground could be something in a
memory challenge later on. We took note. We went back to our car.
It took all of a minute. So it's like, can't hurt. 1 minute now could save us 20 minutes in the future.
So now we are trying to get out of this area. And again, because Ricky's saying there's only 3 turns, there were much more little streets in between.
Yeah.
Something as well that we mentioned during the episode is that a lot of the streets did not have names. So it was really hard to get. And that's when you have to start looking for different bearings and other ways to find your way around. The one thing that I was for sure was that we're on an island. As long as we have the water on our right side, even if I don't know where we are, I know we're heading on the right direction. So now with the stress, I could not make this point clear enough for Ricky to get.
Because it makes sense to some people.
It makes sense to everyone.
Who's very good at directions and navigating.
If the water is on your right and you're on an island, you're heading on the right direction.
We live on an island. And I still have trouble. We live in a very major city and I still have trouble with directions.
Anyways, this moment happened and it's just for everyone that has been wanting to see some spiciness between us. I think this was the moment that you have been waiting for. And you can see it on Ricky's face.
The anxiety of just everything was boiling.
And I think that's what we decided to call this episode.
I just need you to be certain.
And it's just in our communication as well was
Look at that face.
It was pure frustration. But for me, it was like,
it wasn't frustrating. Well, I guess
it was because it is. I think at that point it was really hard to communicate as well as we have been doing. But that's why when he was like, I need you to be certain. I'm like, how can I be certain if I'm telling you I don't know exactly where we are and we haven't stopped and asked anyone? So like I have the same information as you have, and you're asking me for certainty in something that I don't have the tools for it. I just don't have like we're on the same car, we're next to each other. I've never been to Barbados, you've never been to Barbados, and like we pretty much just like realized that. So everything that we have been planning and learning up to this point, I think is just it just made a new level on a relationship where it was like we just have to clear things up.
Yeah,
we need to stop, we need to reset. Like this is the moment that we just like click that panic button, stop, reset, ask directions, and then we go.
I think that's what it was. It was like that you had always been very confident, and at that moment you were unsure, and it was like I had already been anxious because I knew that strong teams, like it's dwindled down to like the strongest teams. And so, and I said in the episode, like our cushion clock, like the gap between us are, getting closer and closer. And I could feel the pressure. And then you saying like, well, I don't know where we are, but I know where we're going. I'm like, that doesn't make sense. Like,
but it does make sense for me.
You not knowing where we are and know where we're going, like just doesn't make sense. And he was like, well, do you want to pull over? And I'm like, well, yeah, if you don't know where we're going. He's like, yeah, but I know where we're going. But I was like, okay, then like, where do I go? And he's like, well, I don't know. Like, you just keep going straight, I guess.
Keep going, and that's what I'm saying.
That's not an answer. Like, that's not certainty to me.
Well, I'm just gonna show it here, like desperation on that face.
Yeah,
it was. And on top of these,
and then finally, it was just like, okay, let's just pull over, just to get a peace of mind.
And I have to just say, because like I was like, why don't you pull over here? Now we're talking that we're driving stick shift on the different side of the road, something that we're not used to. Bridgetown is full of roundabouts, and that is the other thing that is just like.
Of course, someone agrees with you.
Cesar, that makes thank you so much. I appreciate it. You see?
Doesn't make sense. I don't get it.
It does.
That's why I stuck to driving and he stuck to the map.
Okay. Anyways, we have to say that everyone in Barbados was extremely kind.
She was so nice.
But everyone, because now seeing it on the episode, like even the barber, like
with Amber and Vinny, like he was in the middle of getting his haircut. He was like, yeah, come on in. Like I'm like.
Everyone was so nice, but as well, all the instructions, if you didn't get a phone, it would be like, yeah, keep going and then do a right and then another right. And then like those guys at the gas station, they were really being helpful, but they were like,
I want to be like a little proud moment because at the gas station, I took the lead on getting directions finally.
I don't remember that, so I cannot disagree. I'm not disagreeing.
Because you are the one like leading all the directions mostly.
But how funny you didn't bring it up when we were talking about the gas station, and now you're bringing it.
Well, it just popped into my head. But anyway.
Well, fast forward. We're going back to that bus stop. We asked for directions. We were actually going on the right direction, on the right track.
Yeah, we were going
to get into the highway, and you will see it on the map. We passed 6 roundabouts on the route that we took. So at that point, I was just crossing down on my little map, the roundabouts as we were passing them to know that we were on the right direction, and we were heading towards the airport. So now, on the map that I saw that Danny had on Read Your Clue Recap, he had another route. So like it was different ways to get over there.
There was like a northern track you could go, or you could go the southern, like towards the water.
But as well, we have realized that towards like the downtown area and all of that, there were a lot of streets that were packed, and like
I think that was the
public transportation. Yeah, but I think that's gonna be on the way to the pit stop.
Yeah.
Anyways, we ended up making it to the airport. We got a tiny bit lost over there because we didn't pass.
Yeah, we had passed it.
We asked for directions maybe like 2 more times because the place that we were going, it was a really nice sea view.
Mm-hmm.
But it was tucked outside of everything.
Yeah, it was like tucked away. It wasn't like somewhere you would just like be able to see from like
which was awesome because like once we got there, it was so pretty.
Beautiful. Oh my gosh.
So then we get there, we park, we run to the clue box, and our clue box says Detour, Seaweed clearing, or fish pot building. And at that point, we decide, as we're reading the additional info, that we're gonna do seaweed, and it says clearing seaweed off the beach where turtles lay their eggs, and fill your barrel to reveal your next clue. I'm just gonna say it, like for the fish pot building, says build a fish pot to the satisfaction of the local fisherman to receive your next clue. So now we
save the turtles. Let's do it.
We decide that we're doing seaweed. We run downstairs.
Yeah.
Those stairs that you see on the episode, we make it to the beach. And as soon as we get it to the beach, the barrels are on our left. And we're like, okay, this is perfect. The barrels are right
here. And then you turn to the right.
But where is the seaweed? Where are the red flags?
I'm like...
And I was like, yeah, that's exactly a red flag because I don't see the red flags.
Like, I don't see it at all. And I was like, I was like, do you see the flags? He was like, no.
No idea. So then we start walking that direction. We start walking towards, where we saw the stations for the fish pot. And because we cannot really see how far the seaweed is.
It was very far. And, as we walk closer, you eventually do see it. But then at that point, we're looking at the sand. It's like the conditions.
If you saw a recap for in Watape, I twisted my ankle. And because of that, like I was still recovering. I wasn't forcing it. I had like a little like cover. The medic thing was awesome. So it was just, I was trying to be cautious to not.
Yeah. To not twist it. The one of the like crucial things is like, the Amazing Race is a marathon. Like, although you may have to sprint at some point, you are trying to make it to the very end. And so knowing that...
Just going to make a point here. Angie, they were so far, Shane and Juan made it look so easy. They did. And yet we saw Shane...
Beast mode. They were huffing and puffing. It was hard. It was hard. It looked really, really hard.
But yeah, they were really fun.
Yeah. And the reason we decided to switch was the pods were very close, and your ankle. It was like if we could bust it out, we could try and go really, really hard.
And we also felt like we have good eye for detail. Like I proved that on the skateboard. We're both really handy. Like we can work with any material. Like it wasn't an issue for us.
My brother-in-law.
Shane and Juan were perfect for hauling those wheelbarrows and seaweed. They're the ones. Yep.
Then they did, and it showed, and they went from last to second.
So then, I mean,
but yeah, so
station. We picked our station, and we picked the closest to the example. On the additional information said that you might not touch the example. You might not
touch the example.
So we just were like, okay, if we take the closest one, we can just like keep working on our knees and just like
you can just look over your shoulder and
that was about it. The one thing that we didn't do, and I beat ourselves about because we were so good at picking the things that we were bringing with us.
We were very specific about the things we packed in our bag, and one of the crucial things we talked about was safety, and that we wanted to preserve our hands, and we both brought a pair of working gloves
that we have like on a carabiner, like hanging
sitting on our backpack, ready to be used.
What we were talking about the other day with Luis and Michelle on the croqueta shot was, I think because we put the covers, the rain covers, it like you couldn't see the gloves.
So it was like out of sight, out of mind. Race brain. Completely forgot them. And of course, we're bleeding. Like my hands, like it wasn't like I was gushing blood, but like that chicken wire is very sharp.
What did you say? Like this is
B positive blood. I have type B positive blood. So that's why I said it.
Vampires will love it.
And the vampires would love it, yeah.
Anyways, so we split. Like I was putting, I think the sticks around the corners. Ricky was working on the cone.
Yeah.
But then I messed up because I told him which side he should do the hole for the cone. And as I'm looking more deeply, one of the sides had two sticks on the bottom, two supports. So we were doing it on the wrong side. At this point, we see Ivan and Melissa arriving. It's like, wow, like what's happening? Because it's just anything can happen on the Amazing Race. And like from our point of view, we just see them. They arrive. They ask like, "How is it?" We were like, "It's time consuming." They decide to do it, and they get next to us.
Yeah.
So at this point, we start talking a little lower.
Like, I know we were like whispering like this.
We realized that we make the hole on the wrong side, and I just tell Ricky, and I'm like, "Yeah, but like be discreet. Like don't tell them. Don't just."
Yeah. Rosa said that she thought I was saying like, "Oh, be positive." No, like literally be positive. But yeah.
So we saw them arrive. Like they started. Like it was a really tedious job, but we knew if we get it on the first try, we would be out of there. Having a little bit of advantage on timing.
Yeah, one of the things that's tricky when you're choosing tasks is like the reason why we picked Seaweed was because we knew it was going to be very straightforward. A physical task is always going to be, well, not always. It's usually going to be very straightforward. It's going to be really hard, but it's going to be straightforward and typically pretty fast.
And also the clue said that the fish pot had to be like revised by a fisherman.
Yes. And so it's going to be judged, which means that like they can say no and send you back for anything. Like I patched a hole, and they could say no.
We saw it with Rhoda and Leticia, but the other thing, like they sometimes don't say even what's happening, and they happened to Rhoda and Leticia that they were like, he was just like, no, this is not right. Just go more, and that's about it.
Yeah.
So, anyways, we were able to fix our mistake. Vinny and Amber get there, and then finally we see Rhoda and Leticia, and as Rhoda and Leticia arrive, we're finishing up. We covered that. We put the cone on the other side. We carry our bags. We were that confident at that point, I guess. And we ran to the.
I thought we were going to get it in the first try. It was very sturdy. I knew we had everything in
so the fisherman was located in between the stations of the fish pots and the red flags. And I think that's what we realized a little. So the fisherman was a little far.
Yeah. Someone's asking where the materials laid out. It seemed like Rod and Leticia's were buried in the sand.
No, everything was
laid out there, like in a bundle. I think all the sticks were like piled in a bundle. Then the wire, the wire and the pliers were in a little box. So everything was like laid out neatly. I think just in the hustle and the bustle, they got pushed around and got covered up.
So I did notice that as well on the episode that they show it like us on the side.
Yeah, it was like, oh, their sticks got covered up and they missed that. Yeah.
Yeah, so we made it to the fisherman. He checks it.
They didn't show it. He actually threw it. They didn't show that, but he like picked it up and threw it down.
And I think like we cut ourselves because we were really pulling those wires like to make really everything extremely tight. So he could not say no. And instead of a clue, he gives us this little picture that says drive to the image just with an asterisk. And the image was oh my God, why I cannot think of the word?
Gazebo.
Thank you. A gazebo.
Yeah. That's a weird word anyway.
It did say Hastings Rocks, and on our map we had it Hastings Rocks with like a little camera, so it's a tourist spot.
like a popular like spot to take pictures.
So we knew I knew where we were heading to, and we didn't have to ask for directions. We start running back, and this is when we're going up the stairs, and we see Danny and Angie going down.
Yeah.
And it was a quick conversation, like, what did you guys do? Like, was it hard? Was it like, that's about it? And we head up. But yeah, we did not know anything.
Did we pass Juan and Shane driving?
So the moment that we were taking off, Juan and Shane were arriving.
They were arriving.
Yeah. So we got to like talk a little bit with Danny and Angie as we were like, they were heading down. We were going up. And that was it. So we didn't know how everything develops until after.
Literally.
Then we get to our car, we start driving, and that's when we see Juan and Shane arriving. And now we know that all the teams are over there. And at this point, I think we both relaxed because we knew that the next team was Ivan and Melissa behind us.
Yeah, we knew they were still like
they were maybe what? 10 minutes behind us,
I think,
something like that.
I think they were a little
10,
bit more.
10 or 15, something
I'd
like
say
that.
like closer to 15 because we were pretty far along.
Oh, Leticia had the corner sticks. Rod told her they were not needed. Oh, so then that was
yeah. I had a feeling if Leticia had like really like taken the lead on that, they wouldn't have had so many checks because I feel like she has that eye for detail. I also think they should have. They even said it. They should have done the other one. They could have been in and out of there very quickly.
But I think it was the pressure of seeing everyone like in the fish.
It's hard. It's hard when you see everybody and you're like, oh, we'll just stay together.
But I have to give props to Juan and Shane because they did think like, okay, if everyone is doing the same, everyone has time ahead. The only chance that we have to pass, and we have seen it in other seasons of The Amazing Race. Like when something like that happens, is like I think we saw it in Derek's and Claire's that nobody had picked like the carnival games. And they were like, okay, everyone is doing the walnut oil, so we're going to do the carnival games. And they ended up like passing teams because of that. So it's just like, it's a smart move to remember. And as well for future racers.
Yeah.
Think about it. Like at the moment, I have to tell you, at the moment, you won't remember these things. But if you can,
you hear all the racers, past and present, they say there's a racer brain, and it's so true.
But it's so also crazy. Funny because now that we get to talk with more racers and more fans, like and like racers that were super fans before going on the race, is you can also be overly prepared to the point that you get confused and
you overthink.
It can
too many
hurt
things.
you. It can hurt you.
Anyway, so we're in the car. Did we get directions or you knew?
We did not get directions. I knew on the map. So we start driving and traffic hits us.
Traffic, yeah, because we took more of the local road.
We're just closer to the water. And
it was very.
It was so humid and hot that day too. Yep, that is totally true.
And it was. I really wanted to take the top off.
That's the other thing.
Like when we left the fish pods, I was like, I think I even said, I was like, do we try to take the top off? Like
we said it once we were really close to the pit stop.
I know. I was like,
so it was like, okay, well,
but I was like, no, God forbid it starts raining again. We're like stuck without it.
So we were just driving. There was a lot of traffic, a lot of public transportation, and the public transportation, because there's only 2 lanes.
Yeah.
One going each way.
Yeah, we got stuck behind.
They would just like stop a little bit, like get on the curb, but you could not really pass them because there's more.
Yeah.
So it was just that stress of like, what if someone else finished and then they took a different route
and the highway route?
You start thinking all of these things, but at the end, it's like, let's just trust that
we're gonna make it.
Yeah.
And so we made it to Hastings Rock.
And then we see this carnival happening around Phil.
And Miss Peggy shaking a booty.
Sorry about that.
Yep.
We started dancing like she's dancing. Well, it was just a lot of celebration.
It was a lot of fun. We got there, got first place again.
And that was awesome. Then what else? What happens? We're just there. We are looking at the stilt guys, the color that they're wearing.
We were trying to like, as we're, trying to celebrate. We're also studying.
It was all of that.
She was all that. And it's funny because she, you're sitting there talking to her and then she turns around and you're like, oh.
Yeah.
But it was really exciting. And it's like, we felt like we kind of hit our stride and
it was, it's just happiness, pure happiness at that point. That is like, we're doing good. Like we know what we're doing. It's working.
That's working.
And on top of that, like the extra challenge of just the pressure and like frustration and going on top. Like, I think that's again, like a learning in our relationship, something that like we're still together, which is like, it's just.
Didn't kill each other.
Yeah. So it's like, oh,
thanks, Mom.
Yeah. So that's what ended up happening on our part. Later on, we found out that it was Danny and Angie. Got eliminated.
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of controversy. We didn't know much until now. And like as we're seeing more of their interviews, their exit interviews, we had the chance to talk to Danny and Angie like afterwards. And of course, like it hurts, and it also hurts like being a super fan, like and happening that way. Danny was mentioning that in a way was the best way for them to go out, that it wasn't like any of them responsibility, if you say, because sometimes it does happen, like it's like, oh, it's your fault, no, it's your fault, and like even if you don't want or whatever, I mean their relationship is not like that at all. And I just wanted to highlight like little moments. I think we mentioned it on our last recap, like even on the airport, like we could not talk to each other, but like we were just using like the sign alphabet to like try to tell us things to each other, like between Danny and us. And then Angie every morning before the race, like she would give us like the best hugs, like just not to miss our moms. And like I just, as people, they're incredible. As racers, they're awesome. It was sad. It was sad, and now we just see that it's getting tougher and tougher and tougher. And as what happened is like is theirs to tell, like it's what's happening on the interviews, and like we're just trying to share what our point of view, like the behind the scenes. We love them, and like we were sad to see them go, and we're hoping that we will see them again on an All Stars on Finish Business, and like, hey, we might compete again against them. I mean, it was fun one time. I would go for a second time.
Yeah.
So yeah, that happens, and after that, we get a preview for the next week. We see that next week we're gonna be
jumping
something
into
waterfall, something like that.
A river?
Baseball, some cacao, and that's about it. So we won't say much. But before we go, we have our maps. Why don't we show our maps?
There's a map. There's a map. There's a map. There's a map.
Again, we were able to keep our map. I've been trying to keep it in good shape. This one is the second edition. Over here, it's a little busy, this one, but like we have our pit start. We drove to the gas station over here. We asked for directions.
I saw your little picture of Rihanna.
And then we made it to the road tennis. After that, we went back to Rihanna's childhood.
See, it's a very quick turn. It was just 1, 2, and 3.
No, yeah, but you don't see all the little.
There's little tiny streets.
Yeah, you go to Google Maps, you approve Ricky Road.
This map is not as detailed as the roads.
And then we kept going this way. Somewhere around here was Frustration Street.
Frustration Street.
Frustration Street. And then somewhere around here, the bus station. And then we just kept going. And our next map. And this one was the
long map. So
this was the route that we took. 6 roundabouts it took us to get there. So we just keep going through here, and that's when I started crossing those roundabouts. I think you can see it over there.
Oh yeah, you're lost.
We got a little lost around here, and then one more time over here, and then we made it.
Yeah, I think we turned down this like Bear Valley Road.
A little, yeah.
We turned down here.
We asked for directions
to the airport, and we asked for directions, and they were like, "No, go back." And then we came down this road, and it was like a really steep hill. I remember a steep hill, and there was like a giant puddle we had to go through, and then we came around, and it was like a cliff.
We weren't seeing many people, so asking for direction as well was a little tricky.
Yeah.
We finished over there, and this was the route that we took all the way to.
We could have gone like back up and taken the highway and like the roundabout.
It just seems to be a little bit more like we picked the traffic choice, but still, yeah. And then we have our drawings over here. Like, yeah, as Rosa was mentioning at some point, we have over here what the road tennis was. Like, I was trying to take notes on the colors, on the uniforms. How was the oh my God, what's the word that I'm trying to use? No, here.
Oh, the court.
The court. Thank you. And then Rihanna's childhood home. When we went back and like took notes of this and this, Miss Peggy and her fun outfit. Distilled, guys, as much as we could remember.
Yeah.
What else? Everything else over here, and then the gazebo. And that was pretty much it.
Yeah.
I hope you like them. Oh, what did I do?
Clicking everything.
Let's catch up really fast on the comments, because
Yeah. If you have any questions,
I guess this is a good moment while we're reading the comments as well for questions.
Add some questions.
And as well, don't forget, like the video if you like it.
Yeah,
subscribe to the channel.
Subscribe.
Like, click the bell somewhere there.
Click the bell for notifications. You can also check us out on Instagram, Ricky and Cesar. We try to post some pictures and some videos of the show, kind of give you some updates on what's going on.
Come on, I'm trying to read the comments.
Give them a second. When is it go down?
We have appreciated all the love and support. Oh, we love you, Angie.
We love you, Angie.
What else?
When is the final viewing party?
The
finale viewing party is here in New York City. The entire cast will be here in Brooklyn at Barry Park on May 15th.
Okay, I like this question from Rosa because we saw it on. We remember that we had what was it? The FBI agents that said that they were preschool teachers.
If they were actually
not. Are you an FBI agent?
I'm actually
a preschool
teacher. I'm actually a preschool teacher. I've been teaching preschool for, I've been in the early childhood education industry for about 10 years. So I've been doing 2-year-olds, 3-year-olds, 4-year-olds. I've worked with infants, toddlers.
So he's really patient until he's lost in Barbados.
With children. I'm really patient with children. Let's
I have one more over here. Oh, wait, did you upload your audition tape? We did not yet, but we have the first 10 seconds.
You want to see a little
we can show you the first 10 seconds, and we're going to upload it most likely tonight. We're doing it right after this. Let's do it right after this, no? Can we share this?
I don't know if the audio will share.
Can we try?
Give me 1 second.
Okay. In the meantime, yeah, no. If not, we just upload it right after. Let me see.
Answer some
Ricky, would you so rock it as an FBI agent, though? Rohan says.
Would I what?
Would so rock it as an FBI agent?
Yes, I'd be very good at undercover.
Another question. Did you cull any items from your bags during the race to make them lighter? I think we did on the previous leg from Uruguay. We have these light sweatshirt that I was wearing. We ditched those, but it wasn't much. I mean, our bags to start with, they were 13 and 12 pounds.
Yeah,
mine was 13.
Light.
Ricky's was 12, so it wasn't too much. Were you able to get it?
Just keep answering some questions.
Let me see. But we're down. Any more questions? Okay, if not, I'm going to start with my tips for future racer.
Okay.
Yeah?
Give me 1 second.
Okay.
I should be here in a second.
And if not, I mean, we're uploading it tonight. I think it's time. It's time to put our video up there. Should I start with my tips? What do you think? Okay.
I'm just trying to find the file.
Let's just do it later. Sorry, everyone. We just keep trying.
Impatient.
What? Okay, Juan and Shane. 40 pounds each. We did not prepare well. And then you still did. We're trying to do the wheelbarrow
with it. My goodness gracious.
Okay, I'm just going to go with my tip for future racers.
Okay.
My tip, it's, first of all, picking the closest station. So for the fish pot, we saw the fish pots over there. We saw that there was no one else. So we picked the closest station so we could see without actually having to run back and forth, without having to move much. So that, just for future racers, if you're on season 37, you're seeing this. If you have the chance, pick station that is closer. It just will save you some running back and forth. And I have one more. And this is when is it smart to change detours. Yeah. In this case, both of them were on the same beach. So it would have been really easy to swap if you decide. I think if we were in the position maybe of Rod and Leticia, and we see Juan and Shane dominating on that Detour and like having a clear view on where they were picking the Seaweed, I think we would have considered swapping.
Yeah, I think if we were like really struggling or we weren't getting a lot of checks and we,
because even if you did it a little slower, like you could have maybe passed a team and just at that point. So just like think about it. I think if you you cannot really see the Detour, but you're struggling, maybe try to do it within the 5-10 minutes, like the first 5-10 minutes. If you're really struggling, maybe that would be the best moment to swap. And if you swap, get married to that, learn from the twins.
Mm-hmm.
Because,
learn from other racers.
Yeah.
There's a tip. Okay, my tip for future racers is try to be a little strategic when you're choosing an opponent. So, for instance, at the road tennis, I was looking at the lineup and I'm, trying to figure out, okay, who am I going to play? I chose the shortest player.
Why?
Why? Because I'm short. I figured if I play a tall player, they can get their one step is 2 of mine. So if, they can get across the court faster than I can. So I figured, okay, someone with a shorter stride like me, couldn't get across the court as fast. I don't know. So I figured, okay, short person, I'm short. Let's keep it even physically. Did it help? I don't know. It was just like a logic of
even with jokes. Ivan had that strategy.
She was like, oh, he's wearing glasses.
And it was just raining. It might be foggy. Like he might not see, which is like, I mean, we see as well the person that you chose. I think
Angie also chose the same person. Now, she probably just saw that.
I have one more question here. Is there a team from a previous season that you are really hoping to meet at the finale party? I think for me, Tyler and Corey. I think it's just a team that was really fun. That they did great. They stay calm for the most part of their 2 times on the race, and they were succeeding. Like they made it to the final 3. So yeah, I mean, I'm hoping they can come just to meet them. But
Oh, Arnold's asking, did I have to chase the balls? Yes, I did. So whenever the ball went past me, or I guess if it went past him, he had to chase it. But if it went past me, I had to run.
Have another question over here. Are you wearing your Hawaiian shirts to the finale party? We don't know yet.
I don't know. We probably should figure it out. We have like 10 days. I don't know.
We'll see. I think we should go with something like that. Were we able to get us the video, the first 10 seconds? Or if not, we will just have to, like, as soon as we finish this.
It won't let me play it with the
audio. Is it
right
there?
It won't let me play it.
That's fine. You want to just show it? It is just the first 10 seconds. But then we have to promise that we will be...
You won't hear the audio.
Can you make the voices? It was really easy. And it's going to sound funny, but it's going to be for real. There we go. And hit play. Hit it. Ricky, come on.
Ricky, come on.
No, nice. Did we have to did you hear it? I think you could hear it, no?
I don't know. Did you all hear that? The ridiculousness?
If not, do we need to do the live?
Was literally the first 10 seconds of our audition video, us making ridiculous sounds.
No? Okay. Yeah. Then, that was the dub.
It's fine. You'll hear it. It'll be out there for the world to hear us making tomfooleries of ourselves. It's okay.
It was literally something like...
Half of our audition video was the bloopers. So you'll have fun.
Well, maybe we'll just give you that little snippet. Since you could not hear that, I'm just going to tell you.
Yeah, you'll recognize the background.
We did our audition video. We recorded for like an hour. We just didn't know exactly what to put. We were like really stiff. We were really nervous. We just wanted this to be like the best we could do it.
Yeah.
And then I was trying to piece it together and it just didn't work. It didn't work, and I was like, Ricky, we need to do it again. I was about to travel for work. So we sat down, we film again. And I have written down some questions that I wanted us to answer. And what ended up happening was that we were joking around in between those questions. So as we were answering the questions, we were just like joking around and really being ourselves. And I think at that point, like, we were not stressing out. And while I was trying to put it together, I was like, I don't want the answers. Honestly, I just want the bloopers, where we were just like explaining a little bit, but just being ourselves. And I think that's what really like the Amazing Red looks for, like is the banter, the relationship,
us having fun.
So that's what we decided, and let's just do it. Let's just, as soon as we finish this, we're gonna work on uploading it so you can see it. And as well get some ideas, as we as well got ideas from previous racers on their videos that they upload.
And then we'll also probably do a packing video.
Yeah, since as well I saw it on the...
I think that's really helpful too. It's kind of fun to see like what we packed. We packed pretty light. So we'll put one.
I do have to say we were really proud because we uploaded our video and the following day we got our first call. And that was awesome, mind-blowing, and the start of our experience in the Amazing Race. So with that, oh wait, do we have one more question?
One more question. How do you feel that all the players now have the advantage of speaking English? Although I heard you also showed off your French.
I do speak French as well. And as we see with advantages, like, let's say that we're seeing really clear with the Spanish speakers on this season, like Ivan and Melissa speak Spanish, Juan speaks Spanish, Vini speaks Spanish, Danny, myself. So it was a race through countries that speak Spanish, but as well, you put us next to Rod and Leticia, and you see the muscles, you see the strength. Like, there's different advantages that
everyone has.
If you think about it, like we see Danny and Angie, and they're like, they have the smarts, like they have the strategy, like they have life experience that we might not have. So we can go down the list with every single person on this cast. So everyone brings something, and I think that's what we love about the Amazing Race. That is literally people from all walks of lives that have different experiences. And it just happened, like, and we saw it with the welding. Like, it's not that during casting process, there's a question that says, like, who knows how to weld or is related to welding? It does not happen. And it's not that I have pictures on my social media, like, when I was younger, like when I was in junior high. Like, no, it is not. So it's just, it's funny because even the producers are like, what's happening here? Like how did everyone...
And not that even came up in, like, casting, But yeah, I think that's what's really interesting about the race is, like, everybody has an advantage or a disadvantage, or not even a disadvantage, because what you're...
But it's how you play your strengths.
And how you play to your strengths.
How you pick detours, how you navigate. Like we saw it with Busy and Sunny. Extremely fast on every single task, but navigation, it wasn't their strength. So it's like, if you don't adapt fast enough, unfortunately, you might be the next one out. And like, I just, for me, like seeing that like over and over on social media, it might be something else that the people are just going for the language. But like, honestly, is their problem. It's not like we just went there and like tried to do the best and have the most fun, take advantage of this experience just as it is,
and
like
have fun and do the best we could and just try to be the best competitors we could. And we went up against really strong teams, and we wanted to, show.
So now stay tuned, because Wednesday, 9:30, there's a new episode, Dominican Republic, a new country for the Amazing Race US. So it's gonna be really fun. As always, if you have any more questions, leave them on the comments, because but they hate us because they, oh my God. Los comes.
All right. Anyway, please like and subscribe this video. Also catch us on Instagram at Ricky and Cesar. And next episode is CBS 9:30
Yep,
Eastern Standard
and
Time.
wait, because we are not moving from here until that audition video is uploaded.
Yes, we're gonna upload
So
it right
make
now.
sure that you stay tuned and that you put the notifications on our YouTube channel so you can see them. And that was it. I mean, more questions, just leave them in the comments. We'll get to them next week. And we'll see you next week. Thanks everyone for tuning in.
Bye.
Bye. I like